Question number 2, Dr. Parmjeet Parmar.
The Minister of Finance.
Order. Can I just ask the member to start again? The microphone was slow in coming on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. How does New Zealand's fiscal position compare to other advanced economies?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the slim surplus yesterday of 414 million as an operating balance excluding gains and losses means that New Zealand is one of 7 advanced countries out of 35 that achieved surplus in 2015. On that measure, the operating balance including gains and losses was a surplus of 5.8 billion, but that includes a lot of re-estimates of values of assets. We choose the more conservative measure.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Dr. Parmjeet Parmar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What is the Crown's net debt as a percentage of GDP, and how does this compare to other OECD countries?
The
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Treasury's measure of net debt is 25% of GDP, 25.2%, which compares well with other countries. If you use the IMF international comparisons, which include Crown-owned financial assets that are excluded from Treasury's conservative measure, New Zealand's net debt would be the 6th lowest among advanced economies. Either way, we're in a pretty strong financial position, and the importance of that is that people don't have to worry about government's finances so much, and they know that if they're dependent on our services or on income from government, then that will be sustainable.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Dr. Parmjeet Parmar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What are the next steps in the government's fiscal strategy?
Good question.
The Honourable Bill
Mr.
English.
Mr. Speaker, the next steps are not to change too much because it's working pretty well. We now need to generate ongoing surpluses in order to reduce debt levels. We need to, particularly though, continue to focus on improving the effectiveness of our spending, because when government does a good job of changing people's lives with health and education services, correction services, when that's done well, we almost always save money by avoiding cost in the future.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Dr. Parmjeet Parmar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What reports has the Minister seen on alternative approaches to fiscal policy?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, some confusing alternative approaches, which on the one hand accuse government of running up too much debt one day, and then the other day accuse us of cutting spending too much. And both of those reports come from the opposition spokesman on finance.
Question number 3, James Shaw.